We're back on the show. We've got Ben Antao here. And Ben, great to have you on the show.
I'm pleased to be here.
And we just discovered that you know Shane Joseph, who is another author.
Yes.
From
Sri Lanka.
Oh, he's from
Sri Lanka.
Right, not Goa. See,
no.
I was getting it mixed up with Goa.
Yeah,
Bigger tan there.
He's from Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
But he's of Portuguese. No, he's Dutch.
He's
got some Dutch background with him.
Yes.
And you've got the Portuguese background.
That's right.
Which is where they were in Goa,
Yeah.
right? So
South of Bombay. South of Mumbai, call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have fantastic beaches, and Dan and I want to go there one day.
Yes,
Dan?
maybe we'll go together.
That would be
awesome.
awesome.
If your lady wants to come along, then
Okay.
you know.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Ben, great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
And you brought a couple of books here. The first one you mentioned, Images of Goa, right? Do you want to just hold that up?
Yeah, let's
can,
maybe just bring it over to Hugh
here,
and he can.
let me hold that on the big camera.
Yeah,
I mean,
on the big
that
camera.
Pretty good, but
so I can have a better look
there
at
you go.
it.
Images of Goa, and there's some images right there.
But it looks like Ben. It looks like that it's like I'm thinking of the Maltese, not the Maltese Falcon, but one of those movies with Humphrey Bogart. But it's in the 40s. These people are standing in a cafe, or is it what?
That would be the artist is a famous painter now, and he drew those illustrations in 1989.
Okay.
Yeah, right now he happened to be very, very successful and high-priced painter.
All right, right.
I didn't know, so that I asked him his permission to reproduce his illustrations for my book.
Yeah, right, right.
It is a memoir of my early life, my youth in Goa. I came to Canada in 1967.
Right.
Did you go to Expo?
Of course, I had a free pass for 3 months.
Oh.
As a journalist, I was a journalist in Bombay, and then I got a scholarship with the World Press Institute. And I spent a year in the United States, and we were based in the company of 15 journalists from 14 countries. So we stayed at McAllister College in St. Paul, Minnesota. And then we traveled all over the United States. We had interviews with Robert Kennedy and President Johnson and so many other dignitaries.
You met them?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
And I didn't bring that book, Images of the USA. I came to Canada to write a book about my experiences in 1967. And I did write a book. And at that time, they gave me a pass. I was with the Indian Express in Bombay. And
that was the paper you were working for?
Yeah, that's the paper I was working with.
The
Still,
Indian Express.
Indian Express is a major newspaper, one of the 4 major newspapers.
Okay.
And I came to Canada, and one thing led to another, and I stayed here to write a book. So the immigration people told me that if you want to write a book, we cannot give you a 3-month visa. He said, but you can apply for a resident status, and then you have all the time to write your book, and then if you don't like the place, you can go back.
Let me ask you, so you came to Canada to write, what book were you going to write?
My experiences about the United States.
Why did you want to write that in Canada?
Because that's what they asked me. I wanted what I thought at that time, when you are 31, you think like this. I thought I wanted a right perspective. If I wrote it from United States, they offered me a job at McCall's magazine to write that book. But I would be too close to the scene. And if I went to Bombay back, and it would be too far, I thought. So I would come to Canada. But Canada had also invited us for Expo 67 on the 1st of July, 1967. All 15 journalists were there put up at Queen Elizabeth Hotel. And so we had seen the place. I was absolutely impressed with the cleanliness, the hygiene, and and
that's Montreal.
Yeah, that's Montreal. Yeah. So I was so impressed. I couldn't believe this is the best kept secret in the whole world, I thought.
Was Canada.
Canada.
Yeah.
And then one thing led to another, and I stayed behind. I got married here, and I'm here. More than 31 years I've spent in Goa, and the rest of them here.
When you came in here, were you still connected with the newspaper in India, like you would write and you would get paid by them? No,
I was not being paid, but I was sending some free articles to Goa.
Okay.
And after 1 year of being here, I resigned from the newspaper.
Oh, I see.
Because they gave me only 1 year's leave.
Oh, I see.
So I had to resign, and then I found job here in Canada. I worked for, I was at the Record Journal in Oakville right away with the Thompson's newspaper, the Port Credit Weekly. I covered the elections in 1967.
Yeah.
Even though I was very new.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was okay. And then I worked for the Globe and Mail in 1975, 76.
Yeah.
And I worked for the Catholic Register. It's a Catholic weekly in Toronto for 7 years. But I was getting tired of journalism, so I wanted to make a break. And my wife is a teacher, so I went to Faculty of Education, University of Toronto, and got my B.Ed and became a high school teacher. And retired in 1998.
Oh, I see.
And all that time I was writing non-fiction as well as fiction.
What were you teaching when you were teaching?
I was teaching English literature and
were.
writing and dramatic arts.
Was there a favorite author you threw at the kids back then?
We had, at that time, we had American old men in the sea, Hemingway.
Oh, yeah.
He was one of the novelists. Shakespeare mostly. At every grade there is a Shakespeare.
Yeah.
From 9 to 12. And then we had Robertson Davies, the Fifth Business.
Who actually worked at the paper with Ernest Hemingway here.
He did,
yes.
Yeah. He did, yes.
Yeah.
And but the Globe and Mail, I would have stayed there. I was working on the foreign desk as an editor.
Yeah.
I would have stayed there, but Clark Davey, the managing editor, I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to be on the reporting side, not on the desk side.
Yeah.
But at that time, he said he had no vacancy.
Oh,
so I said, in that case, I'm going.
Oh, I see.
So people were many people. When I told my students, they said, "How could you leave that glamorous profession and come to a classroom?"
Yeah. They even asked you.
They asked me. This is all boys' school.
Yeah.
It's a Catholic high school.
Oh, yeah.
Like St. Michael's.
Yeah. I know.
My school was Chaminade College School.
Yeah.
At Jane and Queens. Queen Street.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know that one, but they're all good if they're private.
So I decided to write. So I write novels now. But what I really wanted to stress is about this new thing about self-publishing. Most of the novels I paid for myself.
Oh, I see. Right.
In Goa, there are editors out there, but they are not. They don't have much money to print. Right. So I subsidized their printing cost.
Yeah. Oh, you did.
So it was okay. But the thing about that, so this is a novel about the tailor's daughter, where a lot of Goans came from East Africa to Canada. They are living in Mississauga now.
Yeah.
And this is a story about a young Goan woman who goes to Goa from Nairobi to learn tailoring, and her dream was to break out of the caste system. She was of a lower caste, and she wanted to improve her caste status.
This is in Nairobi?
No, in Goa.
Oh, in Goa.
She went from Goa, from Nairobi to Goa.
Right.
In 1950-52.
Yeah.
And then I wrote a story about her. And
this is a real story, or is it fictional?
Everything is fictional.
But possible real.
It is a literary fiction, right?
Yeah,
it is. It could be.
It could happen.
It could
that
happen.
Sort of thing. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It might even be happening.
It might even be
right,
happening. It is happening all the time.
But
if you read the story, all the time.
But after she went to
Goa,
she said she was trying to break out of the caste system
through love and marriage. So she got involved with a higher caste Brahmin young man, 23, who took advantage of her. And there you go.
Hey, what's with this caste system anyway?
Yeah, because caste system is the disease of the world. It is worse than racism. In India, that's the problem with India. Now, India, although it is very developing now, about 50% of them, 500 million people have no toilets in India. Poorest of the poor. And all these businessmen, they don't even want to talk about that.
Yeah.
They just want to have their own fun and games.
There's, it's funny because you have this business world like downtown Toronto that's part of any of the big cities in India.
Yes.
And then there's right just next door is like one
the
of the
slums.
Slums, yeah.
Bombay too, lots of slums.
Yeah.
You know, the Ambani brothers, he has the Mukesh Ambani is one of the wealthiest entrepreneur in Bombay. He has built a 60-story tower all for himself and his family. Well, all around him are the slums.
My goodness.
So, and I said to myself, why doesn't buy some of the land and improve the living standards of the fellow Indians?
Right.
But they don't think like that.
Yeah.
No, it's just.
I saw Meti, I think her name is Meti, one of the top Canadian Indian directors. She wrote Water, Fire. I saw the movie. It was very disturbing.
Yeah, Dipa Mehta. Deepa Mehta.
Yeah, sorry for mispronouncing her
Yeah,
name.
she is.
Yeah.
I saw the water. Very lovely, beautiful film.
Beautiful and sad.
Very sad because
Yeah.
that, according to her, 30 million widows are there. Their lot is still the same.
Oh, let's explain to Hugh. He doesn't know.
The widows.
He didn't see it.
Oh, you didn't see the water? Oh,
No, I didn't
excellent
see
film.
it.
It's
Yeah,
an
I
art film. I would call an art film.
I'll let you explain the premise to him. Basically, when
What happened was the widow. Her husband left her, and then once the widows, the husband dies or whatever, they become widows, and nobody will marry the widows.
they sent
So
to
they are
a
sent to
nunnery
some
or
homes
something, like a
for the
nunnery
widows.
or something.
Eh?
There's
Yeah.
no
Home.
respect. A
They are
nunnery
no
where you have to
respect. They are
beg.
like untouchables.
Yeah, untouchables.
And
yes.
they all live in a colony,
Exactly. Yeah,
in
yeah.
a conclave, and so she wrote a beautiful story, as a film story, about the condition of the 30 million widows who have been deprived
Yeah,
of all human rights in India.
yeah.
So when the film was completed, she was not even allowed to shoot in India.
That's right. They had to do it in Thailand.
She had to go to Sri Lanka.
Oh, Sri Lanka.
Sri
sorry.
Lanka.
Okay.
Even today, this
Yeah.
film with Salman Rushdie's Midnight Children,
Yeah.
even that film, parts of that film, I read in the paper, are filmed in Sri Lanka because India will not allow her to do that. Because see, this is what I mean. They don't want, India
Yeah.
does not want to hear negative things about it.
Right, right.
Mm.
How
Like
did Salman
anything.
Rushdie get any of his novels done then? If they novels could have been
That Midnight
bad, too.
Children,
Midnight Children.
yeah, I look forward. It has been completed, but it will be released next year.
Yeah.
Now, Ben,
Yeah.
you've got a number of novels here that
Yes,
you've
I do.
written.
Yes, I've got. Okay, let me talk about this Penance. Right, this is set in Toronto. The Penance,
Okay.
the wages of sin. This is a very interesting story as far as I'm concerned. It involves two heterosexual couple, Catholics, and two lesbians. Both are Catholics, and there is an eternal triangle going on.
Really?
Yes,
Interesting.
it is. Yes, so I will pass that on to you afterwards.
I
Dan's
called the Penance.
heterosexual.
When I,
Right,
Yeah.
Dan?
Yeah, lot of sex in my.
let's turn on this monkey. No,
Let's
let me
turn
get
on
on
this
to
monkey.
the spring of these stories. When I read an interview in New York Times of my hero, Haruki Murakami, he's a top author from Japan. He just goes out, sits down, and decides to write a story, maybe with the lightest outline, because it seems like he's got this thing with dream states or whatever. He might say it's about a love story, but it's so convoluted, so intricate, like it's somewhere between Kafka meets Rushdie. It is very good. And he does it with here,
Yeah.
something in that dream state thing, and he falls to, and everyone loves, all the critics like his work.
Yes.
Stephen King says, write the lightest outline. Don't over-organize it. Just out it, and you write it like you're reading a book.
Rocks
How do you
explode.
do yours?
Well, I have been trained I have been educated in English literature.
Right.
So I did up to my MA English literature. So I have been trained academically as a literary critic.
Right.
So I have my plot outline beforehand. Most
The broad outline, they both say broad outline. That's
I do
yeah.
the plot outline.
Yeah.
Most of my novels, I first write them as a short story, and then I decide to enlarge it into a novel.
Right.
And then, because if you have the essential conflict in the beginning, you are able to then develop, take it in various directions, create a crisis, and make a solution, and then again the resolution, then another crisis, and like that. So this Taylor's Daughter was written as a short story.
Yeah.
Then I sent it to the Writer's Digest school in Cincinnati,
Yeah.
where I had taken a course in short story writing. Asked my teacher whether I could expand this into a novel. He said, sure, you can do it.
Yeah.
And he gave me some ideas as to where to expand, put more incidents from the main characters to the secondary character. So I always have, this one is completely written on from the plot outline. I make one scene at a time. Opening scene, second scene, third scene, like a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do it all like a movie.
Now, speaking of movie, we were talking about Salman Rushdie, and he's had a couple of movies made from his books.
Yeah.
What about your books?
No,
It sounds
well,
like they're suited,
they
well
are
suited to be movies.
Well, actually, this book, I had sent it to Bombay, the one of the producer was interested in doing a film of this, as well as my first novel, which is called Blood and Nemesis. I didn't bring the book here. It is about Goa's freedom struggle from the Portuguese rule. I got an answer after 2 months saying that their producers, they could not raise enough capital to make a movie out of this. Sorry, he said. Yeah, because in Indian movies are still not like art movies. They are still like song and dance. Bollywood. See, Bollywood is quite a different genre altogether.
Not the cerebral.
Not like Satyajit Ray when he came. You have heard of him, right? So his movies, they are art films. And if anyone wants to make a story like this, of course, you could put some song and dance here. I've actually wrote a film about this, as well as a play about this novel.
So you've already got the screenplay?
Yes, I've got the screenplay ready to go.
Wow.
But does it have to be in the realm of the Bollywood? It could, maybe there's still, India's a big country, 1.2 billion people. There's bound to be also the alternative film industry. You said it's not too strong. You got Bollywood, which is gigantic.
Yes, the alternative film industry is there in Pune, called Pune, south of Bombay.
I see.
Indian Film Institute. And they make the film. But I'm not quite up on Indian cultural scene because I've been away from 40 years, right? But I do keep in touch with my Goa writers group. Every day I correspond with them. The Goa writers, there's a group. And I keep in touch with them. So in India, you can make any film you want, provided you have the money. They will do it. And those who have produced the film, they call the shots, unfortunately. But here also, Hollywood also, right?
And the distribution, they call the shots on the distribution.
Distribution people. That's what brings me on to my novel, the authors in Toronto, right? When I was president of the Canadian Authors Association, there are 7,000 Canadian writers in Canada. But you be here only about 10 of them, right? Who win prizes. But you have the freedom of the writer is completely stripped by the publishing houses and the editors. Now, if I had given this book I had sent this to one publisher here, they kept it for 6 months and they say, no, after all, we are not going to take it. But even if we had taken it, they would have asked me to rewrite certain things.
Why?
Oh yeah, that's why they want to sell the book. Yes, this is the problem with authors.
Ben, okay, but just for a minute, you want to sell the book too, right? I mean, presumably you want to be, sell as many books as possible, become a best-selling author, win a Booker.
But not at any price, right?
What would they want change? Why do they want to change it again? I didn't quite get it until
I was interested. Why manuscript is changed? Because they would tell you that this thing would not work well in the United States. For example, if I had set a scene in Goa, this book would not be published in the United States because they want everything to be set in America.
Yeah, you can't even set, especially can't set it in Canada.
Even in Canada, they don't know about that?
They don't want to hear about Canada.
Oh my God, they don't want to hear about Canada.
No.
You know what?
It's crazy because you asked that Bukowski, the literary agent. She was telling us, we invited her to give an address to our CAA monthly meeting. She was saying that one of her authors was told to change the setting into Minnesota or Ohio or something.
Okay, wait, hold it right there. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that I saw Amos Oz, who's a top Israeli novelist, one of the great icons there. And his story is based around the village life. Actually, his last stories, short stories, are the village life. But he grew up in kibbutz, so a lot of from the kibbutz settings from the 50s and 40s. And it's in the provincial area of that area in Israel. Nothing changed. That has absorbed loyal readers from around the world. His stories, he says, are based on one of the great, not Nabokov, but one of the other great, the one who did Six Sisters or Three Sisters, Chekhov. His Chekhov-ish is his books. Mary Kamiruki doesn't change anything. Rushdie does. Well, Rushdie is international. and his books in the provincial of the characters, some of them not making any living, the characters.
Yes.
It's in that little, that becomes worldly. Everyone absorb it.
See,
so
I
it
bet-
surprises
But if you
me.
ask Rushdie, before the Midnight Children,
Yeah.
the novel that he first published, that was, he has lamented, only 900 copies were sold, he said.
Really?
Yeah, plus so much editing was done before. It is only when you are, like Margaret Atwood, right? She writes anything now.
Yeah.
And they all publish it because they are interested in making money on the name,
Yeah.
not on
Oh.
the text.
Oh, I see.
Oh, yes, it is just awful what happens, you know.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah. Well, on that she will tell you that he never has any plot. I know nothing. I don't even know where the story goes, he says.
Yeah.
I just keep on writing. That's
Yeah.
why the books are like that. He's more of a poet rather than a novelist.
Michael Ondaatje.
Michael
Yeah, he
Ondaatje,
started
yeah.
out as a poet.
Yeah, he himself has said. So I wonder about these people, you know. Once you are successful,
Yeah.
you can do anything you want.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Oh, yes. In every field it is like that. In music also.
Yeah.
Yeah. In even the jokes, you know, that people are laughing, you know, at 11 o'clock night time, these comedians are making jokes. Some of them are terrible jokes, but people have to can
oh
the
my
laughter.
goodness, that's absolutely right. Half of the stuff on TV that there is stand-up, I thought, I'm not laughing. But when I listened on CBC Radio on this debate thing,
Yeah.
they're amazing, talented comedians. Like everything they come out of their mouth is
Amazing.
funny.
I like the 22 minutes, very good.
Yeah, yeah.
CBC.
Yeah.
CBC.
So how do you independent? So how did?
So
do you have
I-
any advice on the independent? Your
Yeah.
how to go about it?
Right now, that book, for example, the Images of Goa,
Yeah.
was printed according to print on demand. Print on demand. Only
Oh.
110 copies were printed,
Right.
and then as readers order copies, they will be printed. Print on demand.
That's
the
the
new
way it should
technology.
be. Why not do that, right?
Right.
Yeah, why print 5,000 copies and where do you keep them?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
That's,
there are print companies that will arrange that with you.
Oh yes, there are publishing. My next book coming up, I'm now doing a collection of short stories in English
Yeah.
that were set in Goa, and now I'm turning them into Konkani, my mother tongue.
Uh-huh.
10 stories in Konkani on one side, in Roman script, of course, and 10 stories in English, reverse side. So the publisher of this book is asking me to send it right away. So now the copy editor is doing the work in Goa. So I have no problem about publishing anymore. I don't need Canadian publishers.
That's great. So does that mean you're going to be able to go to Goa, do some readings there,
No,
meet with your public?
These stories, no, they would do that. You know, I was there in January.
Oh,
Yeah,
but now you can write it off.
that is true. That is true. So it is, you know, it goes like that. Yeah.
So here I noticed Cinnamon,
Cinnamon Tail Publishing
and they'll
in
do
Margao.
this.
I know. I met that publisher.
And this is what they'll do. They'll do
Yeah.
on through the man.
Yes.
But they want a writer that's, or you're paying for it, so they don't care.
First, no. I'm getting much more money when I'm doing this way. So here, this book, right?
Yeah.
I'm selling here for $20.
Yeah.
If I give it to chapters, they want 55% of the cover price for doing nothing.
Yeah.
Not one of my books is there available on Amazon or chapters.
You just
Indigo.
have your own website and you sell it in your own.
No, people know me, you know, they'll send me, and
Oh,
I
see.
send it. Yeah. If I sell 200 copies, I'm happy. It's not
Yeah.
to make money,
Yeah, yeah.
but it has to go to the right in the hands of right people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Ben, I got
Yeah.
a question because you're writing these books and you're. It sounds like you're not making a huge
No.
amount of money off
No,
of
no.
it.
Yeah.
And I'm curious because what's your, why do you do it? What is it that
Yeah,
compels
for the love
you
of
to write?
literature and to spread the word around, for the love of literature. I'm writing literature,
Yeah.
not romance, not writing books to make money. Literature takes time, you know, it's an art. And so you read this book and it will be read in Goa where they are there, or even in Canada after
Yeah.
a time.
Yeah.
After a time, yeah.
So when you describe it as literature, what do you mean by that exactly? As compared to just any pop
Yeah.
novel or something
What
like
I
that?
would say is literature means when you read the book, it transforms, it has correspondent meaning to life that is lived. Could this story happen in real life? A person will read and say, yes, some readers told me, it happened to me, except he said, my husband married me. He did not dump me as it happens to this girl afterwards. One reader said, it happened to her too. Many people want to shed this caste stigma.
Yeah.
That's a disease, right? We are all equal. But merely saying we are equal does not mean anything.
Yeah.
If the institutions and the structures are not in place. But Canada is a great country in that respect, in order to defend the human rights of individuals.
Again, back to the actual writing.
Yeah.
I think I can embrace the idea that Amos Oz said to Charlie Rose on his show in New York. This is the writer from Israel. That it's something that embraces the writer.
Yes.
And in the smallest denominator of mankind is someone in the village or someone in that little provincial thing, what people would laugh at from another sense. But he says those big suspense international type stories that you get at the bookstore before you go off on the plane, they're left on a bench somewhere.
Of course, because
as
they're
opposed
not
to the other
literature.
books you can go over again, over and over again.
Yeah. You remember the name of Arthur Haley in the 70s? At the airport. He wrote books like Airport.
Yeah,
Wheels,
that's right. I did read
Automobile.
Airport.
Yeah, Haley.
And that's a throwaway book. in a way.
Now, after 30 years, it's not there, but he made money like crazy. He
Yeah.
did not even pay the taxes, went to the Bahamas to live there.
Went to the Bahamas, did he?
Can you imagine all these people who take advantages of the tax system here, and like Conrad Black, they just run away. They don't want to pay their fair share of taxes.
I hear it's a beautiful resort in that,
Yes,
that
it
jail
is.
he went
Yeah.
to.
So what I'm saying is, there are certain books like that, that they are just topical.
Yeah.
They don't stand the test of time.
Did
So
you-
for me, literature is a book that after 10 years you read it and it still makes sense.
That's why people read the book over and over again.
Over and
sometimes.
over again.
The Sun Also Rises.
The
is
Sun
almost
Also
like
Rises.
A brochure. It's like a brochure
Yeah,
with
and
some
you see
intellect to it.
the Old Man and the Sea.
Yeah.
It's a very short novella, but still
A
people
very
like it.
businessman saw me with the book. It was a new edition of Ernest Hemingway's Sun Also Rises. You know about American expats. For those who don't know, American expatriates who were hanging around in Paris when it was
and
affordable,
Spain.
and Chagall and those guys were hanging out also, doing their artwork, struggling artists. And the guy said, because he was a businessman who believed in making money, and he says, "Oh, I see you're reading The Scum Also Rises."
Yeah,
which is not you or me, of course.
But he was okay, you know. But today, if you wrote like that, the publisher would not take it.
Really?
Well, this is too simple. They say, what is this?
Yeah.
Is that for a 10-year-old?
So tell me about Nepal. Were you ever a fan of Nepal?
V.S. Naipaul, yes.
Yeah.
He's an intellectual writer.
Yeah. He had a temper, apparently. But
Oh,
anyway.
my goodness. As a person, terrible.
Yeah, was he? Yeah, yeah.
The Trinidad, when he won the Nobel Prize, right? The Trinidad people, the author Derek Walcott and all of that, you know, he also won the Nobel Prize. Derek Walcott, the poet, they were complaining because this guy is so racist that it's not even funny.
Is he racist? Really?
He himself is he's from Trinidad, but East Indian descent, no?
His great-grandparents came from as indentured labor from Delhi. From
Delhi.
India.
There you go, yeah.
And all of it, in 2 generations, he became a Brahmin. Look at that. How can that is possible?
A Brahmin means what?
At the top ladder of the caste.
In the caste system, okay.
And so people who are indentured labor in the 1850s, the Brahmins were not going as indentured labor anywhere.
What, you mean he says he's a Brahmin?
Of course. What he does? Not only, it is all propaganda. Yeah. And his friend from London Times, he wrote a book about him. I was shocked to read that he's such a Brahmin, this and that. And so all of a sudden, you become successful because you get a great break, you know, in England. Yeah. And then, because English people, they like, because India was a colony, and they liked intellectual, energy in writing. Yeah. But he was much too intellectual, V.S. Naipaul. I've read his books, yes. Yeah, he's a good travel writer. Yeah. He wrote about India called 1 Million Mutinies.
What was that? Quickly, what was the premise on that? We're talking about you.
He went all over Mumbai, all of that, and people are mutinies. it's a big population at that time of 1 billion people, right? They are forever rising against the system, against the tradition and all of that.
Okay.
So he wrote that about that.
Okay.
It's a good idea.
I'm going to switch gears. Do we have quickly just to switch gears?
I wanted to switch gears.
Okay, there you go. I want to write a novel.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Yeah.
I'm not making fun of this. I am. I'm not making fun of myself.
We'll make fun of it later.
Yes, fine.
Yeah.
I've got this one, you know, how to make novels for dummies kind of thing or whatever. I got
That book.
Natalie Goldberg's book, which is some common sense. A guy you never heard of, Derek Jensen, who's really good about bringing out the emotion
Yes.
of the writing.
Yeah.
Then the encouragement of course, Mary Kami Haruki just goes out and just writes the thing. And he allows something from his gut move him.
Yeah.
Of course, there's a spine, there's a
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
But it's something like a bohemian, dark-sided characters as
Yeah.
opposed to the village life. I'm asking you, I don't have to go to that little school, do I? That
No,
you went
no.
in Connecticut or something? I'm sure it was very good.
You
but,
mean, no, what I would say is, you have to write every day. This morning I wrote.
True.
I wrote this morning. Every
Yeah.
day I write for
Right.
1 or 2 hours
Yeah,
on my Konkani India.
yeah, exactly.
But you have to know the craft. Your English language is fine,
yeah,
but the craft of the novel.
Right.
So, or the craft of the short story.
right.
You have to know the form. So
Yeah.
there is form and there is style. So if you get some idea of the form, then you'll be able to see whether you in fact want to write a novel.
Well, if I'm reading Rushdie and I'm reading the way they switch from, you know, like when they're talking about something, they go into a little bit of the history person. Rushdie, Milan Kundera, Nabokov, all these guys, they're bound to be a bit of an influence on that form you want to do. but you wanna
Nabokov
make your own form.
is a genius, right? He's in a different, like Lolita, right?
Yeah, yeah,
He is in a different category altogether. I adore him
yeah.
because he is able to be. There are certain writers like that, you know, like Rushdie. He's a word wizard. He's not lost for words. He
Yeah.
can write about nothing, 500 words about
Eloquently,
nothing,
Yeah.
or
eloquently.
500 pages about nothing.
That's right.
Because the way
But you
so
don't
he's
have-
gifted.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't need a story. He can just make anything up, and
Yeah.
people will read it for his quality of writing,
Yeah, yeah,
not for the story.
yeah. Right, right, right.
He got a new novel,
That's right. Not, you know, I won't
not
get
for the quality of story. Yeah,
the
that's-
quality of the story. It's the way that he puts the words together. But
Yeah.
I find that, like, to me, what good writing is when you when the writing is like a clear pane of glass
Yes.
that allows you to see the
through
story,
window. Yes,
right?
Yeah.
But with Rushdie, it's
No.
like I'm noticing the glass. I'm
Not at
noticing
all, not at
the
all.
words and not the story.
Well, he
There
gets
is no
too-
story there. There is a lot of words.
Well, he
Yeah.
gets a little too flowery for himself sometimes.
Yes, very
And I'm
flowery.
like, hey, look, I can go from point A to B. You went all the way around for not
Exactly.
that. An editor that didn't
But-
want any more BS. Now he's too big.
Now
But
he's
if
too
an
big.
editor would say, look, Salman, you're good,
Yeah.
but you got into some bad habits here, and I'll tell you, you got to get rid of all this stuff here
Yeah.
and all that
Yeah.
stuff there. If you want to work
Yeah.
with me,
Yeah.
I'll help you, but you got, you know.
No, I can give you something positive about that novel, The Midnight Children.
Yeah.
He had a lot of problem getting started.
Yeah.
Finally, he found the right point of view on this. And the point of view of, so there were 1,000 people were born on the day of India's independence,
Yeah.
August 15, 1947.
Yeah.
And he said 1,000 people were born who had the power of ESP, extrasensory perception.
Yeah, yeah.
So one of the narrator is that guy. So by having a narrator with an ESP, powers of ESP, he has completely surpassed the logical sequence of cause and effect.
Yeah.
Anything happens in his books because in that story because the narrator is like that. I couldn't do that way, but that's a smart stroke of genius. He said that.
Yeah.
Until I found the right narrator, I couldn't get through that book.
Yeah.
He had everything going for
And
him.
that was his best book, maybe.
Oh,
Midnight Children.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because with that, if so many magical things happen. It is
Yeah.
called magic realism.
Yeah.
That's what he did.
Now, we go 2 seconds here. Form. When you say form, it's like a wine. It's that type of taste that you want. That
Yeah,
kind of
the form.
direction you want to go.
Yes.
Like Mulholland Drive. You
Yes.
know, the director of Mulholland with his films. what's his name? The famous movie director.
Eraser.
Lynch.
Yeah,
Lynch,
David
yes,
Lynch.
David Lynch. That's a whole different story than what Spielberg would do. That's a different
Absolutely.
form.
He has got his individual form.
Yeah, I see.
Mulholland Drive. Every writer has you have to discover your own voice.
You know what I like best about that movie? When they were like little midgets and they got under the door.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
I was just using it as an example.
I thought it was cool about the little midgets.
Let me say one word about that book. This is a book about stock market. It's set in Toronto.
Wow.
This one here.
It is set.
Yeah.
It is about a supply teacher who is trying to support his family by playing the stock market. So in which I'm also a certified financial planner.
Yeah.
So I use my knowledge of the stock market, financial planning, to create a story out of it.
You know, I got so many questions for you, Ben, and we're almost out of
come
time.
another time.
But what's going to happen with the stock market? With the Greece crisis and everything, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
This euro thing, what's going to happen?
Should we sell or buy?
The problem with Greece is that, everything is coming out now. Unfortunate. They want to be in Europe, but they don't want to be told what to do.
Exactly.
Who can blame them?
And
there was a poll.
50% of the people are working for the government, and they don't pay the taxes, but they want to get the money from the government.
There was 2 polls taken. 2 polls were taken about this referendum.
Yeah.
One set of polls says 60% want to turn down what was required of them by the Eurozone.
Yeah.
And then 70% of them approved by the Eurozone helping them financially. So it's like, I want all the cake and eat it too.
Absolutely. And yesterday, I was very impressed with Angela Merkel and Sarkozy.
Yeah.
He said, if you don't follow with what we have said, then you don't get the money.
Yeah.
No funds will be released until you agree to cut the costs for the austerity measures.
I hope. You know what I hope? I hope the people of Greece vote.
They will do. No.
They vote to let the EU do whatever they want. They should just separate, do their own thing.
For the last 13 years, they have been enjoying the euro, the power, and the drachma would be nothing. Nobody will buy drachma.
No, but
that's okay.
You cannot go back to the past at all.
We'll go forward into the future with a new, super devalued drachma.
But the next generation that is coming up after 20 years, the Greece will be better country, like Argentina.
Yeah.
Remember
they'll
25 years?
like exporting goods, that's at very cheap level.
And
so
what,
that would have to be what they'll do.
And what is this Germany doing? They are exporting goods to Greece, and they have no money to buy. They say, no, we will give you the credit. That's how Greece is at the, like what Nortel did about 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
They sold all their equipment, and people had no money. I said, no, we will give you credit. And eventually
Nortel
went down. So Greece also could, Greece is very much dependent on all the European countries where not Greece, the Germany is sending all their goods.
Ben, how about Italy and Spain?
Oh my God. Italy is another kettle of fish. My wife is an Italian. I wrote a book about Sicily. I didn't bring it here. Lands of Sicily in Italian as well as in English when I went.
Ben, this has been great to have this. And I wish we could just sit here talk all day about politics, about India, about the stock markets, about
stock market. I can talk forever. That is my favorite subject. Now, what about the 30-second commercial?
Oh yeah, well, don't worry about that. We'll take care of that in a couple of minutes. But we're going to have to sign off of the show now. But before we do that, like Ben, where can people get in touch with you if they want to get in touch with you for any reason? If they want to buy some of your books, how do they do that?
Well, I actually, as I said, this is what I will say.
Well,
I belong. No. I belong to the.
We'll do that after. But I mean, is there a website where people can go?
Well, if you Google my name, you can find all the reviews.
There you go.
And everything is there. Just Google my name, Ben Antao. All the books will come up.
That's Ben
Antao.
Antao, right?
Google my name and you get everything you want to know.
But do you have a website with your stuff on it?
So many people are creating my website, but I've got website. My work is there, archived in various places. But somehow, at my age, I said to myself, I cannot keep it up, right?
Yeah.
So, but eventually I would have to have, because this is the technology, right? You have to have a website. But you can get my books by Googling my name. And I am also associated with the Writers and Editors Network.
Yeah.
That's where,
That's WEN, W-E-N.
W-E-N.
Right?
That's where.
Fabulous.
Yeah, that's where one of your guys came there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you know. Last month he came
Oh, yeah.
about the liquid lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have fun, Ben,
That's
on the show
wonderful.
today?
I really like this. First time I'm coming actually here.
Yeah.
No, I was looking at this green color. That's what they mean by the green room, right?
There's no green. It's black, Ben. Can't you see? It's black.
That's like the show Charlie Rose.
Yes.
It's in training for when you get interviewed on Charlie Rose.
Yes.
It has a black background.
Or it's like the old Pierre Burton show. Remember the Pierre Burton
Oh,
show?
I love the Pierre Burton show.
Remember
Old
the
one.
black they had?
Oh, yes.
That's where we got the idea.
Yeah, Pierre
Yeah.
Burton show. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was wonderful. Yeah, Pierre
Yeah.
Burton was great. Yeah.
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 Okay, well, Ben Antao, great to meet you and have this conversation. Thank you for doing this today.
Pleasure is mine as well.
All right,
You and Daniel.
Daniel.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice talking to you.
Yeah.
Okay, Dan, so that's it for the show.
Thank you.
Did you have fun today?
Yeah, you weren't much help.
Well, you got a lot of help today.
I
You're
did.
one step closer to writing that novel.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
What's it called? What's your name, title of it?
It's
I think you're just
I haven't
making that
worked on
up.
it
You're work.
Yeah.
You got another few. Okay. Anyway,
Yeah.
goes the mic. Okay, so that's it for the show, everybody. Thanks a lot. We'll see you tomorrow at noon for more Liquid Lunch right here on ThatChannel.com. See you then.
Thank you. Bye.
Hi, my name is Ben Antao, and I belong to the Writers and Editors Network in Toronto. I write and edit both fiction and non-fiction. If you need an experienced editor to copy edit or evaluate your manuscript, please get in touch with me at 416-250-8885 or email me at ban.antao@rogers.com. My mailing address is 18 Geraldton Crescent, Toronto, Ontario, M2J2R6. Thank you.